What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another review from Monday Night Raw. This one is from March 25th, 1996. Shawn Michaels starts off this show with his click cam as he is taking on Leif Cassidy, aka Shinobi, aka Avatar, aka one half of the New Rockers with Marty Jannetty. Oh, that is a mouthful of characters that this guy has been. And that's just right now. He's going to play even more characters down the line. Shawn is in his hometown of San Antonio this week, and he brings out his mentor, Jose Lothario. And while Shawn is making his entrance and being all flamboyant like he always is, Leif Cassidy is just standing in the corner looking like a schmuck. Leif shakes HBK's hands before they start wrestling. It appears that he's a big fan of Shawn Michaels, and it would make sense since he's taken Shawn's spot as part of the New Rockers. Bret Hart also comes out, and Jerry Lawler takes off. Bret sits down for commentary. As much as I hate that feud, I like that they continued the little rivalry there by that little detail. Bret sits down for commentary as he wants to scout Shawn more. You would think HBK will want to finish this match as quick as possible, but we get a couple of rest holds. Cassidy delivers a nasty looking spine buster. Looked like Shawn's head snapped back there. Leif also hits a rock bottom. Marty Jannetty walks out to ringside. Michaels ends up getting cut on his forehead. They both do a multiple roll-up sequence, but Leif gets the upper hand by pleading off and then pokes Shawn in the eye. They go to the top and Leif hits a superplex. Bret looks pleased because he's going to be hitting the same move to Shawn at WrestleMania, so he's happy to see Shawn getting worn down. They go to the top again, but this time Shawn blocks it and tosses Cassidy off, then hits a flying clothesline. Marty gets involved by pulling Shawn's leg and holding him by his trunks in the corner. Bret comes to get Marty out of there, so Leif misses a move, which allows Shawn to hit the super kick for the win. Afterwards, Shawn gets in the face of Bret for getting in his business. Well, at least I think that's why, because all Bret was trying to do was help him. Both guys get face to face, but cooler heads prevail, and they will save it for Mania. Bret goes back with Vince and just says Shawn isn't his best friend, and he isn't really his enemy, but he is looking forward to beating him at WrestleMania. So, the stage is set. All we have left to get to is the match. Now, with this full build, I'm hoping that when I watch the match, it's going to make it even better. Like I've said in previous reviews, I've watched this match like 5 times. Every time, for some reason, I'm always behind it. But now, with the proper build, that might make it 10 times better. So, I'll let you know what I thought of this match on the next review. Next up, we have Hunter Hearst Helsley versus Aldo Montoya. Hunter makes out with his valet, but Aldo Montoya holds the ropes up for her to exit the ring. Helsley, of course, doesn't like that, and Montoya for sure is going to get an incredible beating after that. And it's also crazy to think that this is the same Hunter Hearst Helsley from the 2000s. It's almost like he ate himself. Into the match, Montoya hits a crossbody, then starts to fire up. He hits another crossbody from the top rope for a near fall, but makes a mistake when he sends Helsley to the ropes and goes for the back body drop, but Hunter stops and hits the pedigree for the win. Him and his valet leave together as he prepares for the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania. Next, we have Goldust being Goldust in a parking lot with a mannequin wearing Piper's clothes. Starts rubbing all over him and speaking naughty to the mannequin. He lifts up the dummy and starts throwing it around and breaking it apart. Perfect mind games if I've ever seen any. Like, the sheer thought of another man coming onto another man in the 90s was the worst sin that you could commit. But then Goldust also snaps and is able to show that he can be aggressive. The fact that he's holding the Intercontinental title also makes sense now. They give him the credibility while he pretends to be feminine. So you don't know what to expect when you wrestle him. I'm breaking it down for you piece by piece. Feel free to subscribe for all this wisdom that I'm providing. Later, we have Vince McMahon interviewing Paul Bearer and The Undertaker in the ring. They bring us up to speed on what's been going on with Taker and Diesel over the last couple of months and weeks. Taker doesn't really say much besides just trying to put fear in Diesel with some creepy words. I think that the match will just be a 20-minute long bore fest, just because I've seen how they've booked the Diesel and Taker matches in the last couple of months. Slow and methodical pacing, so even though I've been behind the storytelling, I could care less about this match. Then we get another video package for Shawn Michaels. Him training and the goal that he's had since being 12 years old to becoming WWF champion. Crazy to think 6 months ago, Shawn had all that going on with the guys from Syracuse, and the story that he might not ever wrestle again, and now he's main eventing WrestleMania for the WWF title. What a difference 6 months make, I guess. But he has to go through the ace of the WWF to get that title. Bret ain't going down that easy. Usually WWF like to have their 1A and 2A. Hogan and Savage were the top 2 in the previous years. They built up Razor Ramon and Diesel, and also Shawn to be in the second spot next to Bret. But Bret has already beaten Diesel and Razor, so they've been kept at a far distance from Bret's level. So Shawn is looking to change that and become the next top guy in the WWF. Then we have Ahmed Johnson, who appears to have used up all the oil in the back, taking on Owen Hart. Amed with a couple of power moves to Owen as we see his sister watching from the crowd. Speaking of his sister, her husband, the Bulldog, comes out to ringside. Why don't we just make all these matches lumberjack matches with all these people coming and going on the outside? And I find it odd that, for me at least, and I think this is a majority, because in AEW and WWE, they have two different ways of doing it. AEW has too many stables, WWE doesn't really have that many. It's odd that when there are too many stables, we wish that there were less, and then when there are no stables, we wish that there were more. There's like no middle ground where these companies can get a perfect balance. Someone who does like stables, though, is Owen Hart because he takes advantage of his stable by hitting Johnson with a kick after he was being distracted by the Bulldog. After commercial, Amed hits a spinebuster and goes for the Pearl River plunge, but Davey Boy comes in for the DQ finish. Vader also makes his way out, and they triple team Johnson. Of course, this cues for Jake Roberts and Yokozuna to come out for the save. The good guys end up making the bad guys retreat yet again, as we will see all these 6 guys in a tag match at WrestleMania. Not looking forward to this match either. I don't care what you tell me that Vader is making his debut at WrestleMania. I don't care that Ahmed Johnson is a new guy. I don't care that Owen Hart and Bulldog are in there so they could potentially make this match good. I don't care about the star power that Jake Roberts has. 6-man tag match, I could care less about this. I apologize if my voice sounded different from the start of this show to the end because I randomly somehow got my allergies as I was reading these notes, so it was a weird episode to get through. But Raw itself ends with a music video tribute to Bret Hart. All in all, I wouldn't say that this is a terrible show. In terms of go-homes for WrestleMania, this was by far the best one since 1993. And I also think that this is the only time that both opponents for the main event were on the same Raw in the same arena before the pay-per-view. I gotta give them credit for that, I guess. So this show will get a good grade. I mean, add to that we also had appearances from guys fighting at WrestleMania like Goldust and Undertaker to promote their matches. So a passable show, at least for 1996, and comparing it to previous go-home Raws before WrestleMania. So, if you haven't done so already, go watch WrestleMania 12 as we will cover some of that on the next review. And go ahead and let me know what your thoughts were, either in these comments or wait until next week and we can talk about it there. I'm guessing Shawn versus Bret is going to be the only good thing to come out of that show. WrestleMania 10 is still for me the pinnacle of WrestleManias, not only since 1993 when I started these reviews, but I would say of all time, WrestleMania 10 has to be like at least top 10 of all WrestleManias. But let's see if WrestleMania 12 can surpass that. But until the next one, I'm out. Catch y'all later.